History is rarely made by giants. It is made by ordinary men who find themselves in extraordinary shadows. Imagine a room in the Kremlin, 3 floors down. The air is thick with the scent of cheap tobacco and ozone. There is no window, only a single electric bulb that hums with a sickening frequency. On the table lies a list, a limit. It isn't a list of names. It is a list of numbers. 4,000 for Category 1 death, 10,000 for Category 2 the camps. This is how Joseph Stalin viewed humanity, as a ledger of subtraction. He was a failed priest, a romantic poet. He didn't have the charisma of Hitler or the intellect of Lenin. He was the grey blur, the man in the background. How does an ordinary man from the edge of an empire become the most feared dictator? To understand the monster, we must find the boy. Our story begins in the dust. 1878, Gori, Georgia, a land of wine, blood feuds, and ancient grudges. He was Iosif Dzhugashvili. His father was a cobbler who drank his weight in vodka and beat his son with a systematic cruelty. In Gori, life was cheap. You survived by being the hardest man in the room or the quietest. His mother wanted a saint. She sent him to the Tiflis Theological Seminary. But while the monks sang psalms, Iosif was reading Marx. He found a new god, a god of revolution. He didn't want to save the world. He wanted to tear it down and rebuild it. By 1899, the priest was dead. The outlaw was born. He took the name Koba, the Georgian Robin Hood. For 15 years, he was a phantom. 1907, Tiflis. Suddenly, the world turns white. A series of grenades, disguised as cheese wheels, tear through the square. Horses scream. The pavement is slick with blood. In the chaos, Koba walks through the smoke with a terrifying, calm indifference. He isn't a revolutionary. He is a force of nature. He robbed banks to fund Lenin's lifestyle. He learned that the only thing more powerful than a secret is a secret shared by people terrified of you. But the frost was coming. In the Siberian exile of Turkhansk, the temperature drops to 50 C. The spit freezes before it hits the ground. Other revolutionaries went mad in the silence. Stalin, he hunted, he fished, he sat for hours staring at the white horizon. He was learning how to become as cold as the landscape itself. When the revolution exploded in 1917, the world looked at the stars. They saw the fire of Trotsky's speeches. Nobody looked at Stalin. In 1922, he was appointed General Secretary. His rivals mocked him. They thought he was a clerk, but Stalin understood what they didn't. The man who controls the files controls the truth. He spent 2 years filling every office with men who owed him everything. He was building a shadow army inside the government itself. Stalin mastered the false smile. He would sit in the Politburo puffing on his pipe, listening to the brilliant Leon Trotsky. Stalin would wait until the very end, then speak. The problem, Comrade Trotsky, is you are right in theory, but you have no friends in the basement. When Lenin died in 1924, he left a warning. He called Stalin too rude and begged the party to remove him. But the warning came too late. Stalin played his rivals against each other with the precision of a chess master. By 1928, the grey blur was the only man left standing. Stalin now had the power, but he was haunted by a single thought: if he could steal the revolution from others, others could steal it from him. He didn't just want loyalty, he wanted absolute, paralyzing fear. His office became a laboratory of fear. He would invite a comrade for dinner, toast to his health, and then, as the man walked to his car, Stalin would signal the NKVD with a slight nod. By morning, the man would be a non-person, his face bleached out of every official photograph in the Union. The basement of the Lubyanka was his factory. He marked files in red pencil. Beat, and beat again. By the late 1920s, the Great Turn began. This wasn't just policy, it was a crusade. He decided to break the backbone of the peasantry. Imagine the silence of a village in Ukraine in 1932. There are no dogs barking, they've all been eaten. This was the Holodomor to build his industrial dream. He needed fuel. That fuel was the Gulag. Look at the White Sea Canal. 250,000 prisoners were used as human earth movers. They died at a rate of 700 a day. Stalin's paranoia was the engine of the machine. Even his own family was not exempt. When his son, Yakov, was captured, Stalin's response: "I will not trade a marshal for a soldier." The The Great Purge of 1937 was the climax. By dawn, the pits were full. Stalin would sit in his dacha, checking the lists. He turned the entire nation into a land of informants. He was the sun, the moon, and the stars. He was the father of nations. In March 1953, the man of steel finally rusted. He died as he had lived surrounded by people too terrified to help him. When he finally stopped breathing, the nation wept. They wept for the God they hated and the father who had broken them. He left behind an empire of silence and a legacy of bone. The man of steel had found his throne, but the price of the crown was the soul of a nation. Stalin's true reign was only just beginning, because even in death, his shadow still falls over the snow. Stalin's true masterpiece wasn't the factories or the tanks. It was the genetic memory of fear. He left behind a nation of people who whispered in their own kitchens. Even 50 years later, he left behind a bureaucracy that valued the ledger over the life, where the mistake of a single pen stroke could still feel like a death warrant. He created a world where the truth was whatever the man at the top said it was, even if it contradicted the bread lines and the empty shelves. Imagine a grandson in a modern Russian flat finding a yellowed photograph in a floorboard. He sees a face he doesn't recognize, a great uncle, perhaps his eyes scratched out with a needle. This is Stalin's living shadow. He didn't just kill people, he killed the memory of them. He made the past as unpredictable as the future. Today, the gulags are mostly rusted wire and collapsing timber, slowly being swallowed by the Siberian tiger, but the archipelago hasn't disappeared. It's simply moved into the subconscious. The man of steel proved a terrifying thesis that you can take a diverse, sprawling empire and reduce it to a single pulse, his own. He showed that if you are cruel enough, long enough, the people will eventually mistake the boot on their neck for a pillar of stability. We look back at Gory, at the dust and the cobbler's son, and we want to believe he was an anomaly, a demon, a freak of history. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. Stalin was a mirror. He reflected back the ancient grudges and cold indifference with industrial efficiency. The electric bulb in the Kremlin basement still hums. The tobacco smoke still lingers in the halls of power. Because as long as a nation chooses the strong man over the free man, Joseph Stalin is never truly dead. He is there in every secret file. He is there in every silenced journalist. He is there in every Category 1 list that still circulates. The crown he wore was heavy, but it was perfectly balanced. It was held up by the millions of hands that were too terrified to let it fall. The man of steel found his throne, and he has never truly vacated it.